My name is William, and by the time you read these words, I will likely have left this world behind. I feel compelled in these final moments to confess a secret I have harbored for 50 long years. A secret I never dared reveal until now. As I lie on this hospital bed, with each labored breath reminding me of my dwindling time, I can no longer keep silent. I have always been known as a respectable man. Neighbors at church, colleagues at work, and even distant relatives called me Honest William. I was polite, generous, and from my earliest years I attended Sunday services, praying to live as a faithful servant of God. Yet behind this carefully maintained image lay a truth that was far from pure. My story truly began 50 years ago, when I was only 26, full of hope and ambition, newly married and eager to build a better life. I dreamed of a good job, a loving family, and a warm, secure home. Every morning I whispered a simple prayer: Lord, guide me to do what is right and let me live without hurting anyone. Back then, I believed my heart was unblemished, that I was on the right path. Then a life-changing opportunity presented itself. I was offered a position at a small, up-and-coming company that promised a bright future. At my first interview, the boss remarked, "You strike me as a trustworthy man, William. We need loyal people." Flattered and driven by the desire to secure a better life for my loved ones, I promised unwavering loyalty without questioning the ethics behind the offer. Soon enough, however, unsettling signs began to emerge. In the hustle of daily work, I noticed irregular cash flows, mysterious hidden accounts, and unexplained partnerships. A small voice inside urged me to question these anomalies, but I silenced it. I had just married. I wanted to provide a comfortable life for my wife and future children. The fear of losing that dream overwhelmed my conscience. One fateful day, my boss called me into his office. "William," he said in a low, confident tone, "I have a major opportunity for you. I trust you with this. Please deliver this briefcase of money to our contact. In return, you'll receive a substantial reward. A giant leap for your career." The briefcase was heavy with cash, an amount so large it dazzled me. Despite an uneasy knot forming in my stomach, I accepted without hesitation, reasoning that everything must be above board. I asked no questions, and in that moment, I chose to ignore the doubts clawing at my heart. I handed over the money to someone I considered a friend. Deep inside, I felt a gnawing discomfort, yet I pushed it aside, seduced by the promise of wealth that would secure my family's future. Little did I know that this decision would haunt me for decades. Months turned into years. The company prospered, and I earned promotions, while my life outwardly flourished. My wife and I moved into a nicer apartment, and we eagerly awaited the birth of our first child. Outwardly, everything looked perfect. A new car, elegant furniture, stylish clothes. But beneath the surface, a dark secret festered. Then came the night that shattered my fragile calm. My phone rang with an urgent, trembling voice. "William, come to the office immediately. The police are asking questions." Fear gripped me as I rushed to the scene. I soon learned that the money I had delivered was funneled into a nefarious scheme that had hurt countless innocent people. The scandal exploded in the newspapers, and our once promising company was thrown into chaos. Worse yet, the friend to whom I had given the money was arrested and, under pressure, claimed William knew about it. Panicked, I protested. I knew nothing, insisting I had only obeyed orders. In that desperate moment, I convinced myself that I had been duped. I maintained silence when my conscience screamed to speak out. My boss's whispered command, "Handle this internally, William, and say nothing," echoed in my ears as the company quietly relocated to another city. I resigned, desperate to start over, and buried that painful chapter deep within my heart. Time passed, and I built a new life. I raised my children, attended church every Sunday, and continued to be admired as a good, honorable man. Yet every night, the memories of that terrible decision returned like unwelcome ghosts. I would lie awake, tormented by the thought, Could I have been braver? Should I have spoken the truth? My prayers became pleas for forgiveness, even as the burden of my silence grew heavier with each passing day. A few months ago, I received a letter from an old neighbor informing me that the man I once trusted had died. After his release from prison, he had struggled to rebuild his life. His family had disintegrated, and he eventually passed away from a heart attack, alone and forgotten. Reading that letter, a crushing sorrow filled me. Though I cannot say for sure whether he was entirely to blame, I know that by remaining silent, I contributed to his downfall. Not long after, my health began to fail. What was first thought to be a stubborn infection turned out to be a serious lung condition. Each day, it became more difficult to breathe. Now, confined to this hospital room with 4 bare walls, I see the faces of my family, each visit a bittersweet reminder of the life I once led. They ask, "How are you, Dad?" And I force a smile, unable to reveal the depth of my despair. Yet in these final hours, I have found the courage to confess. My Christian faith teaches that we must face our sins and seek God's forgiveness, and so I share my truth now, hoping that someone somewhere might learn from my mistakes. I beg forgiveness, not only for myself, but for the damage my silence has caused others. If you ever hear this story, remember, a single lie can spiral into devastation. Trust your conscience and speak the truth before it's too late. I am William, and perhaps I realized this too late, but you still have time. Do not waste it.